Welcome everyone. This is the Sprint 11 review. Um, I want to go ahead and address some delays that we had during the sprint. We had to push the demo back a couple of times. You probably saw in the email notifications. Our team was experiencing some technical challenges that we were working through, and we've been able to overcome those. And the team put in a lot of hard work to be sure and deliver the best quality product to you guys. And I think in the long run that these slight delays will pay off. And it's good that our team is finding these challenges now as opposed to down the road where the university would have to find them uh, later on and deal with them yourselves. So I think with a positive sign there, we're moving forward and we're excited about what we have to show for the CBS pilot site today. Again, we're just going to review the work that was completed and not completed, uh, present that to you, the stakeholders, and then, of course, we celebrate. I would like to ask everybody if you have any questions. We'll do that at the end of the demo as time permits. And always please document those questions and give those to John Starr and Steve Wynn. As the product owners, they really do a great job filtering the business needs for everything and passing along the most critical items to us and making sure we have a nice prioritized list. And also during the demo, please mute if you're not talking. It improves the quality of the audio for the recordings when folks are watching later on. So we ask everyone to please mute. Just really quick, we've been working on this for quite a while, and we're now in phase 3, and just wanted to like to always remind everyone all the work that we've accomplished so far and going through phase 1, just starting out with the most basics, getting a site installed, and just even down to the simple pieces of entering and creating content. And some of the things along the way is also the content migration, which is a big challenge on any project of getting content from one system into another. So also just going in from the almost the wireframe of concept, or the concept of wireframes to uh, and the content layout and the theming in Drupal, and making sure that you guys had uh, the responsive design and keeping your header and footer intact and everything. So for your branding in the university, so big a lot of work there, laying the foundation. Then we moved into phase 2 and started polishing things up a bit and even refining the content migration. One of the things we worked on was the groups profile, which that's one of the install profiles we've created for you, and it will be showcased here today with the CBS pilot. There will be That's one of the sites that will be on the groups profile, so you'll get to see some of that. And then, of course, even going further with the content layout and the theming, and even just going along the way as we met the March 1 deadline to get the install profiles completed so that the OIT group could begin the process of getting people, early adopters, migrated onto the Drupal platform. There's QA work going on and some support. So we even did some of that work in the last sprint. And so for this sprint, we focused on the CBS pilot. And it was a big push getting them ready. And at this point, I think I'm ready to turn this over to Ryan so he can go ahead and show you some of the work we've done, mainly focusing on the CBS pilot, but there were a few things that also impact the base installation and just the base theme that we'll be using for everyone at the university. Ryan, are you ready?
Sorry, I had myself muted. It
Okay.
works much better if I'm not muted. It works much better if I'm not muted. All right. So I'm going to flip this over to myself right now. And let me switch it over to screen 2. All right. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Well, that is welcome to the actual demo. Pulling up my notes real quick. So the first thing that I want to say is the absolute obvious, which is that what you're looking at right here is the CBS homepage. And I hope that you are all as excited to see it as we are to show it to you. So a couple things that I want to go over before I proceed with the actual demo of this. A couple things that we got done that won't be in the demo because they don't really fit into a demo per se, is that the installation profiles were documented. We have set up a test site for data review by CBS. We received some feedback that the migration module names were not as clear as one might hope, and we've updated that. And for accessibility, we have updated the footer to use the footer semantic tag. So first up on the demo is the homepage here, which as you can see, a lot of work has gone into, and we hope that you like it as much as we are happy to show it to you. Big thank you to everyone that we talked to from CBS that helped us get it to where it is. There was a lot of good back and forth, a lot of good feedback. So the main menu is here. It has the multi-columned layout that was present in the previous iterations, and we're pleased to say that we brought it back. As you can see, the slider here has been redesigned just a little bit to better fit into the CBS color aesthetic. The gray panes here at the bottom, this is actually a style plugin. We noted that the gray pane was used in numerous places throughout the site, and so we wanted to make sure that that was available to anyone who was creating content and who wanted to be able to use that particular styling on their particular page. The page background has been changed to being the flat white as identified by Miranda, and additionally the header has been changed correctly, and there is now a fully configurable footer in the very bottom. There is a WYSIWYG field, which I will show later on in the presentation, that you can just use to edit the text here to say whatever you need it to say. So this is a general page, and I'm going to go ahead and reload to show that I'm logged out. And apparently the page wasn't published correctly. That's a bit of an oops, so I'm actually going to log back in real quick. And I'm pleased to say that the content access permissions are still working as intended. All right. So as you can see, this page was just called Lorem Ipsum. Nothing out of the ordinary there. The secondary menu is highlighted to show that this page is under that particular link, so you have a active trail there, which is very good. Additionally, the header tag styling has been updated and includes the new styles. The tertiary menu has been fully styled as well, and you can very easily see where you're at and where you would go to go up. This right here, this 3-image banner, is actually an automated process that will allow you to input any number of images between 1 and 3, and will actually adjust itself to match that number of images. So to demonstrate how that works, I'm just going to go to Edit Draft real quick. And I'm going to drop one of those images off. We're just going to remove, and I'm going to actually publish it now. We're going to save. And as you can see, it's expanded now to be a 2-image. And the images are still perfectly proportioned. That's why they got a little taller, is to preserve the proportions of the images so that they didn't stretch, they didn't discontort, and there were no issues there. We also put a lot of effort into the responsiveness of this. I'm just going to drag this out so I can resize this page by itself. And so as it shrinks, the images shrink as well. And then the menu goes responsive. And so the images start stacking so that they don't get too small to see. And once it hits mobile, it actually goes down to only having the one image in there. We'll go ahead and expand that back to being full screen. So the next thing that I'd like to show is we received some feedback that there were some issues regarding the memory limit, actually, with running update and running features updates. And so we've taken care of that. So to show that, I'll just go to update.php. It just takes a moment to run because it's doing a lot of database queries right now. So I guess now is a good time to ask, does anyone have any questions so far? Please feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. And as you can see, there are no alerts right now regarding the requirements. There is no issues with the memory at all. And so that has been taken care of. So the next thing that I would like to show is our own Andrea did an absolutely excellent job at patching the memory block module so that now one of the requirements of the tertiary menu was that it be able to show its parent. And so if we were to go and create a new menu block, which we can do by going to Structure, Blocks, and then there's just a button, Add Menu Block. There's now an option labeled Include Parent. And so checking that box will generate the effect that you saw on the test general page, which I'll pull back up. And if you wish, you can also turn this off in any menu blocks that you have created, and it just won't be there, and it will just be the menu without the parent. All right, so I'm going to pull up the migration page, which appears to have been slightly misplaced in my tab list. The errors that you see at the very top here are just Migrate being particularly verbose about the removal of migrations that did not apply to CBS. But as you can see, we've been importing large numbers of nodes. We've been able to import all node types right now. We've been able to import all node types, and the vast majority of which have files attached that are functional as well. So we are just about ready to do a full file migration on CBS. One of the other features that was desired was the ability to create galleries of slideshows, and I'll just go ahead and walk through that process now. So we'll go to Content, and we'll add a new piece of content. In this case, we'll add a gallery. The galleries need to be added first because the slideshows are linked to the galleries. And so we'll just call this Gallery 1. And so let's see if there are any images here. We have just a little 500 by 300 image. And so that will appear in the banner. Click Next. And it's a public local file. We'll give it just the alternate text of alt text. Very creative. We'll save that. And let's generate a little bit of lorem ipsum text and drop that in as a description. We won't give it a group audience right now. And we'll just go ahead and publish this and save it. All right, so now we have our gallery, and as you can see, there's not really a whole lot in it. So there's just the image, and there's just the text. So let's make a couple of actual slideshows. I'll just bring up two tabs because we're going to create a couple slideshows. Call them slideshow 1. And so we need to tell it where it needs to go. And so we've provided an autocomplete field here, which should be picking up the gallery. There it goes. So we'll give it a pretty short description here. So for images, we'll use pretty similar placeholder images. We'll use a 300 by 500 this time, just to get creative. Continuing to fill in alternate text. As part of the accessibility requirements, as has been mentioned in the past, we require alt text on all images just to make sure to preserve the accessibility for all users. We'll do a 500 by 500 for the next one. And for the sake of the demonstration and for the sake of keeping this moving forward, I'll only go with 2. You can upload, I believe, as many images as you'd like. The only real restriction is how long of a loading time you're prepared to accept on the page itself. If you upload 100 images, it might take a moment. So we won't give this a group audience or anything. We'll make sure it's published. No log message is required for the state change, so we'll just go ahead and save it and move on. This will be slideshow 2, which will also need to be linked to gallery 1. As you can see here, if you were so inclined, you could link one slideshow to as many galleries as you need it to appear on. We'll give this a similarly brief amount of lorem ipsum text. Let's pick a couple images. And we'll add one more. And after we save this, our gallery of slideshows should be good to go. All right, the images are there. So we'll just publish this and move on. Okay, the slideshows themselves are not themed. The slideshows themselves are not ever intended to be standalone pieces of content per the requirements. And so we'll reload the page that is the actual gallery. And let's verify real quick that the panelizer settings are correct. So, and during the course of this, you may decide that you want to add additional pieces or additional slideshow galleries to various pieces of content. And we'll just go ahead and show how to do this during the course of verifying that this is working correctly. So there is a view called Galleries and Slideshow, which appears that the module was not enabled that provides that. So let's hop over to the modules page. And check and make sure that that's on. Well, we appear to have actually encountered a hiccup here, which I'm sure that someone from Palantir has logged, and something that we'll need to check into real quick as part of the QA. It appears that the gallery view isn't on correctly right now, and so that's something that we'll need to look into. But it's not something that I anticipate being difficult at all to solve. All right, trying to find my home page again. All right, so we're back here. Additionally, one of the other things that we fixed was that the indentation buttons, which were popularly requested, were not present in the WYSIWYG. but that has since been rectified. Those are present and working as intended. So we've shown off the home page, which we are very pleased to deliver to everyone, as well as the pane style plugins, the sliders, the responsive functionality, and that is everything that I wanted to show for right now, but I'd like to open the floor up to questions.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions right now, while Ryan still has his screen up, that would be great. Okay.
Yes, currently when you're wanting to create a new gallery, the question is when wanting to create a new gallery, it's one at a time uploading. And the answer to that question is yes. As part of ensuring accessibility with all of the images and all of the media, we require the presence of alternate text. And so the current iterations require images to be uploaded one at a time in order to make sure that that happens.
Um, okay, John and Steve, do you guys have any questions about what's being demoed right now?
We don't have anything right now.
Okay.
All right, well, in that case, I shall turn it back over to you, Tom.
Okay.
All right, I have made you the presenter again.
Okay, thanks. I've
No problem. Not a problem at all. In response to the chat message.
okay. Okay, can everyone see my screen again? Is that good? Um, okay, we also completed some tickets that were just not really didn't lend themselves to the demo process, so just wanted to include those here. We're also getting ready for a training session that'll occur next week, and then we had a few items that are still not complete that are part of the sprint. Some of one of the major items we wanted to have complete during the sprint was a story where we're part of the migration, the data we're getting over for CBS, and we're really close on that. Just have a couple of things left to look at, and we expect to have that uh, resolved early next week. And then of course we had some nice to have, just some documentation and some small improvements that we'll also get to early next week. And for the base installation, we had a couple items and the content layout. Those will be ongoing and will likely be addressed in the next sprint. Going forward, uh, after the demo, if you notice anything or see any items, obviously Ryan ran into one there, and we'll troubleshoot that and get that included or updated as going forward. Anything else, just pass that through John and Steve as best you can. If there's any specific questions, they really help us a lot there. So next steps next week, we'll be using Monday as a planning day. Tuesday we'll do our traditional sprint planning where we go through and get the stories and then into a backlog, and then we'll have that approved by John and Steve. And then the next review would be Friday the 25th. On the UMN side, again, just keep going forward with your QA feedback. Uh, for us, what we're planning in the next sprint is CBS support next week. We'll be meeting with Miranda Reimer hopefully on a daily basis next week as CBS gets ready to hopefully launch on the Drupal platform soon. And we'll also be starting up the migration and theming work for Rochester. So we've already been working with Linda and Karna quite a bit, and we look forward to having them more involved in the project. And also the training we mentioned, and there's just ongoing knowledge transfer as OIT has been very aggressive in picking up the work that'll be involved and getting the rest of the university migrated over. And we really appreciate all that. So again, a big thank you. We we can't say enough how much we love working with the university, and everyone there has just been great. And John and Steve, the leadership they've shown on this project, it's been amazing. And just the ongoing effort of some of the folks in OIT there, Ryan and Christina, and I know Jim at University Relations and Jordan. Those guys have been great, and the site owners also. Just the feedback they've given us, working with us, and we're just really excited to keep going and hopefully get CBS live on the platform soon. And I would also iterate the delays I mentioned um, at the beginning. That had nothing to do. It was beyond the control of John and Steve and the folks at OIT and Miranda. They've been perfect clients, and they all the deliverables were always there well ahead of time and everything like that. So it was just some technical hurdles that we had to get through, and I think we've got those resolved now. So I think everything will be better going forward. And I mentioned Linda and Karna. We've been working with them, and we're excited to start getting them in the process and getting some of their data migrated over, because I know they have a new design they want to show off, and I think everybody will love it. So uh, I'll open the floor for questions or comments, and we'll try to address those now. Otherwise, I wish everybody a happy Friday and a great weekend.
Uh, David asked about the vertical rhythm. I don't fully understand the question.
Yeah, I see that.
The H1s and H2 height was intended to match the designs that were given to us by CBS. I don't believe that there's any currently known issues regarding them being the wrong font size, but it's certainly something that we can double check on.
Okay. Uh, any other questions? Okay, well, we'll wrap it up. Thanks again, everyone. And again, happy Friday and have a great weekend. We'll see you the next review.